Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. We are here for a pop-up evening reading. I felt like getting all dolled up and channeling some messages. I've been feeling super low lately, so I feel like this needs to kind of come through me. I need to let spirit enter my body and give me that juice that I've been missing. And my intuition has been spot on lately. My dreams have been spot on. Ironically, this is not a good thing, but around May 15th, which was 5, 6, 7 days ago, I all of a sudden just became like obsessed with watching YouTube videos and YouTube shorts about tornadoes. I was even watching like a live stream one night of storm chasers, and it was really like entertaining and cool. And I've always had this like odd infatuation with tornadoes. Like I don't fear them for some reason. I don't know if it's from past life or what, but I super fear tsunamis and water. Like I will not go far out into the ocean. I'm scared of the waves and like strong currents, but for some reason wind and tornadoes don't scare me, although I'm not wishing that upon anybody or myself to experience it, to say that it's cool. But I was guided, I just not guided, but I just organically started watching all of these videos, and I made sure to cleanse my energy before bed. And I honestly was not having any dreams of tornadoes. And there's like this breakout right now of tornadoes in the Midwest. And if you guys have not seen it, you must go check it out and pray for these people. Like I'm talking mass destruction. One of my clients, it's her hometown, and they said that they found like a book from a high school that was 100 miles away. Can you imagine a tornado carrying debris for 100 miles and then drop? Like, it's just crazy to me that that's how strong it is and that's how far it can travel and stay on the ground that long. It's just wild. So I was watching the news and watching like and looking at the destruction, and I just can't even wrap my head around like the cleanup process of all of that. So I'm sending so much love out there to anybody who's ever dealt with a tornado, had to rebuild your entire home and your family, and maybe you've lost loved ones. Like to me, that's just devastating. As much as I say that I like them, I don't like them, when I know that there's a possibility of all of that. And maybe that was mean of me to say that I like them, but I don't know why I'm drawn to them. I just think they're so like kind of beautiful in a way to look at. Is that weird? I think we're all drawn to natural, the way nature works. But man, do I love tornadoes. My favorite movie is Twister. I could watch Twister over and over and over again. And I can't wait. There's a new Twister coming out in June. So I will totally be there watching it. But I am mindful not to watch, you know, natural disasters. I'm not putting that into my conscious mind, my subconscious mind all the time. So that's a little reminder to make sure that you're not doing that as well. But I'm sending so many prayers to anybody who's been affected by the tornadoes, family members that were affected. I've been hearing that all the spiritual teachers and people that are channeling messages are saying that like these natural disasters are what is going to stop our war, because it's going to force people to stop looking at the war, and we're going to have to come together because we're literally going to need resources. We're going to need to help people. So I think this is just the beginning of the revamping of our world from what the spiritual teachers are predicting. So let's open up some sacred space and see what Archangel Michael wants to tell us today. My air conditioner just turned on, so this is blowing a little bit. Okay, let it burn for a bit. I hope you're all doing well. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Join the tribe. All right. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and whitest light messages to come through. Bless me, bless my cards, bless my beautiful viewers. I love you all so much. And let's see what comes through. I'm going to do an extended reading for my community, my online community called Awaken Your Magic. So if you are not a member, there's a link below and in the comments. You can click that and you can join. to get exclusive content, to get one-on-one interaction with me, and then group interaction. You can get support from the group if you're going through a hard time. We've had 3 or 4 people start their own businesses right now in that group. Ever since they entered the group, they started their own business. They started doing YouTube. One of my clients, I'm so proud of her. She just launched her own app. So there's been so much progress, and it's not my doing, it's the support of the group, and it's them doing it on their own and them feeling like they have a tribe of people behind them to support them. So if that feels like you and you feel like you need that kind of like family, that second family, that soul tribe, the link's below. Okay, I feel guided to start with the old school tarot, and I see the strength card at the bottom of the deck. This is called the Rider-Waite Tarot. So let's open up and see what the very first message is going to be. Okay, it was like this. We're going to keep it like this. We have 1 reversal. Reversal is reading it just the opposite of what the meaning is. So we have 2 of Wands. Somebody's being indecisive about where to go next, but it was reversed. So a decision has been made. Normally you're like, do I go? Do I stay? Do I travel? Do I change jobs? Do I change relationships? But somebody's made a decision and they're ready for this new adventure. They have no idea where they're going next, but they're ready for this new adventure. And then the Page of Wands is literally, it's like a novice starting something brand new. And Wands represents creative passions and, you know, figuring out what is it that I like to do? I don't even know. And it's you going and figuring that out. And you're making a choice to maybe leave something where I know for me, when I left my teaching job, when I was teaching, I didn't have the space or the capacity to create my YouTube channel. I just felt so bogged down by the teaching job. I was exhausted coming home every single night. And then my dad got sick and then he passed away and I took a medical leave to help him and help myself. And after that, I just never went back because it felt so good to be at home. I wrote an ebook after he passed. I felt like I had this muse energy inside of me where I just wanted to create and create. I created the Ever Unfolding Heart deck. I created my Micah Magic deck. And that all happened in those first 2 months after my dad died. And I just felt like something activated me. And I created my YouTube channel on January 1st. And then it was just history from there. So sometimes we have to leave something to create space to allow that creativity to come through us. And like my idea for YouTube, I always thought I wanted to do YouTube, but I thought I wanted to be like a vlogger and do like my nutrition and my fitness. And I do that, but I never thought I'd be doing readings on YouTube or a mentorship or teaching people how to manifest or like my sign videos. I never thought that. But yet I was always the girl that was seeing signs, and everyone back then was sending me hearts. They were sending me Micah hearts, my daughter. She passed away in 2012, and ever since she passed, she sends me hearts everywhere I go. And people just send them to me all the time, and it feels so good. So I was always kind of the sign girl to other people, but I never thought I could get paid to teach people how to observe those signs. So literally, like my daughter gave me my mission. And now people are looking to understand the signs. And I had such a long time to learn it because 2012 until now, that's 12 years. I had 12 years to decipher what does it mean? Like, why am I getting like 50 hearts in 2 days? What is Micah trying to tell me? What is the universe trying to tell me? Sometimes money would come in, sometimes a new job would come in, but the hearts were consistent. When they started to amp up and when I'd see a lot of them, it was guidance. It was saying, hey, whatever you're thinking about right now, do it. I even had, you guys, I even had ex-boyfriends. I had this one guy who was in my life and he like tore my heart to shreds. And it was perfect. And, you know, I don't still admire him that same way that I used to back then because I'm different now. I was grateful for my time with him, but he was actually engaged. So he was engaged to get married. And I met him through working with him, and I had torn my calf. And I was in the training room all the time, and I would always bump into him in the gym area. I would observe the conversation, and I always had a crush on him, but he was, engaged. There was no chance. And the more we would like share stories, and I tore my calf muscle. So I was in there, I was in the training room all the time. Um, and we would just share stories, and we would talk to the high school students, and we kind of like got to know each other through the students. Like the students would ask us questions as teachers, because there would be kids in there rehabbing their ACL, or maybe they had shoulder surgery. So we would have like cool adult conversations that really challenged them. And like we talked about goals in life. And so I got to kind of read into like what his brain was like. And I was really attracted to that part of him. And then one day, guess what he told me? I'll never forget it. He called me in on a Tuesday to where he worked, and he was like, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what? And he goes, I was with my fiance this weekend and I went for a run, and he's like, I saw so many hearts. I think it was sidewalk chalk. And then he was running by like a homeless man. I think his fiance lived in Maryland or something. And they were like a long distance at the time. And the homeless man said something about follow your heart. And then, so that was two heart signs, and he knew hearts were connected to me and Micah. And then he goes home, and his fiance was cooking a meal, and she picked up the steak from the plate, and the juice from the steak was in the shape of a heart. And he had liked me, and he had been interested in me, and he felt really guilty because he was engaged, but yet he was fighting with his fiance nonstop. His mom even told me at one point, after, like when we eventually started dating, after he broke off his engagement, his mom told me that they were like fighting nonstop. And those hearts were what guided him to end the future marriage. So we didn't even connect. You know what I mean? Like there was no talk of us like being together or liking each other. He just called me in one day and was like, I have to tell you something. It's like, I feel like Mike is talking to me. He's like, she sent me a heart on the ground on my run. The homeless man said, follow your heart. And he's like, I happened to be thinking about you while I was running. And then the juice from the steak was in the shape of a heart. And he's like, I've never seen these signs before. And he's like, I just felt like I have to do this. So that night he was driving to Maryland to tell his fiance that he wanted to break up. And I'll never forget it. It was so cool that like spirit was leading him to a better choice. And then I guess it was maybe 2 months later, he asked me out, and it was magical from then on. And it lasted like maybe a year and a half. And that was the relationship where I had broken up with him, and then he wanted me back, and then I got back with him, and then he broke my heart in the end. And now he's happily married with kids and stuff. But that it was like I was guided to get him out of that relationship. And then he was there to help me heal a little bit from my loss. He was my first real relationship after Micah had passed away. Um, but it's wild how you guys, like, if you're getting hearts, that could be God and spirit in the universe guiding you to make a really big decision. And it's whatever you're thinking about when you're seeing the heart. They're not just hearts and feathers and pennies for no reason. There's usually a really great, safe, and comfort behind them that says, hey, you can trust this. You can trust me. I know you guys can't see or feel me or touch me. That's what spirit is saying, but you can trust me, and you can trust your heart if you can follow your heart. So isn't that a wild story that like I had a crush on him and he was engaged? I never thought ever that it would be possible that we could date. You know what I mean? I just had no idea. And then Micah, or the universe, started sending him all these hearts, and I had no idea. I was clueless. And then until he called me in that day, and I was like, I was like a deer in headlights. I was like, oh my God, did I manifest this? Because I used to write in my journal, like he's single and da da da. And I was totally manifesting it. And even though it didn't last long term, it still was something that was needed at the time. And I think it saved him. I think it really protected him from entering into something that would have been really toxic and painful. And I mean, who knows where it would have ended up. So we are all being guided to certain relationships and to certain people to help them, even if it's not something that'll last forever. And we have to kind of be open to that, even though it was so painful for me. I was like, wait, I really thought it was destiny, like, especially how it unfolded. Like, wouldn't have you guys been like hooked to that story of, wait, no, this is meant to be. God made this happen. How could we be breaking up? And that's why I literally couldn't eat, sleep, or do anything after we broke up. I remember living with my brother and I was like skin and bones. And it's just that relationship made me never want to be in a partnership ever again because it was so painful. And I think it's because the story that I tied to it was so strong and it felt so destined until I met my mentor. And then she taught me about the tree. It's kind of like the tree of life, that we are all individual branches on the tree. And on each branch, there's other branches that come off of your branch. So if this is my branch and there's a branch here, each branch is going to feel like destined. It's going to feel like that magnetic pull, but it doesn't mean it's a lifer. It doesn't mean you and just that one branch are going to be together forever. Some people that marry their high school sweetheart and their, our grandparents who, were married for like 70 years or however long, if that's, that could be possible if they pass away at 90 and got married at 20. Like those types of people, their sole contract was to do that. But for people like me, where it's, I'm not married yet, but I've had a bunch of different like strong connections. Well, not a bunch, probably like 3 or 4 really strong ones where I was like, this is it. And each new person that I met after that, I was like, oh, that wasn't it. This is it. So each branch I would feel more connected to because I was more connected to myself. So that's a message out there that if you are clinging to a relationship because you thought it was destiny and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to feel the pain of losing this person, you might be missing out on a better relationship. And it's right around the bend and you're staying safe and comfy somewhere else when you could be in this better, more expansive partnership where that person's going to help you grow. So keep that in mind. Ace of Wands. Okay, we have a bunch of wands. So this is God bringing you this new inspiration. And this is not the deck to kind of joke around about this, but the wands are very, very sexual. So if you are feeling super turned on lately by somebody in your life and you want to go into a certain direction with them, and maybe you want to go travel with them or you want to go explore yourself with them, that could be this energy. Where's my phone? I'm gonna look up the meaning of the Rider-Waite Page of Wands. It says the Page of Wands shows a young man holding a long staff in both hands as he looks inquisitively at the green leaves sprouting from the top. His tunic is emblazoned with salamanders, a mythical creature associated with fire and transformation. Page of Wands can appear when a spiritual path or journey may be calling you. You have a curious mind and are intrigued to see where this call might lead. While you are very much the novice when it comes to this spiritual endeavor, you are open to the experience and keen to discover new levels of consciousness. You may benefit from working with a wise mentor, someone who has walked your path before and can now lead you forward. Okay, I knew there was a great message there. And it's kind of like what I said before. It's like, somebody's making a choice and this is your creative passions. It's your life's work and you're eager to do it, but it's almost like, let's go on the spiritual journey. Let's expand our consciousness. Which means there's normally some sort of leap of faith. Like you have to just go into something or let go of something without knowing what's next. All right, I just got guided to do the ever unfolding heart. What about this leap of faith? What do we need to know about the leap of faith? Seahorse, be still, bop around for a bit, just wait, the answer will come. Don't rush it. The universe is moving things for you. And as I was saying that, and as I was reading that, I just heard that 2 people might be coming together to do mission work together. So maybe you have a YouTube channel and your partner is going to come do the background work of it, or maybe they're going to help you build your website. But it's like I know so many spiritual teachers and Yeah, just people that are out there doing this type of work. There's usually one partner who's out and like the one that likes to be seen. And then their other half, or their other whole, their yin to their yang, they're in the background doing all the legwork, doing all the managing of the website, doing the planning, doing the organizing. Because when it's a yin and yang energy, there's a great balance. There's this like, you know, your other whole, we'll call them whole, your other whole, WOHOLE, you are able to see things that we'll say you're their yang. The yang might be able to see things that the yin cannot. So it's like this perfect balance of like, hey, I see this in you, and hey, you might need to work on this, or hey, let's build this, why don't we create this and see where it goes. So it's almost like you work in tandem with each other, and it's a really beautiful balancing act. So that's what I feel like. And I feel like the other person might not know that they could do this type of work because they've never tried it. And the partnership is what brings it together. So the seahorse is saying, be still, bop around for a bit, just wait. The answer will come. Don't rush it. The universe is moving things for you. And I know for me, I feel like I've been in a stalemate. I feel like I'm in this like waiting energy of feeling like I've been flipped upside down, like feeling squeezed to the max, super uncomfortable where I live. As my neighbor just walked in, who makes a lot of noise in the evenings, which is, not normal. But it's been new because she just moved in. But that's been like my push is like, I think I gotta leave. I can't focus. I can't like sleep some nights. The other night I had to go on like a 2-hour drive just because I like didn't want to be in my house. Like that's not healthy. That's not helping my vibration. So sometimes we are in this hanged man energy where you feel like you're upside down and you're like, universe, I know you're pushing me out of here, but yet I don't have anywhere to go. I've searched high and low for an apartment, nothing. And I've not gotten any feedback, which is very rare. Normally, I always get feedback if I need to go somewhere. So it's like the universe is saying, not yet, Michelle. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna wait for the guidance. So the seahorse, I think, is a message for me personally. And I got a lot of seahorse messages. I think it was 2 weeks ago. There were seahorses out back by the pool. And who knows, maybe my partner will be coming in and we'll do work together. Maybe he will be somebody that can be in tandem with me, even if he doesn't fully believe in all of this stuff. Okay, your light is felt when you walk into a room. You don't even need to speak. Observe more, talk less, see that people will still love you just for breathing. Okay, so maybe there's a hidden message in here that's connected to sometimes people don't feel, they feel like they need to do a lot to get somebody to love them. And you feel like you need to keep up with your body. You feel like you need to look a certain way. You feel like you need to say certain things. And the biggest thing on a twin flame journey, believe it or not, in these partnerships where you have like a big soul mission and you're needed in the world and you're here to support. And the purpose of a twin flame partnership is that yin yang, right? You come together and you click into place and you have telepathy. You can understand each other, you can support each other, but also the biggest lesson is learning to receive that help. So two twins, they've lived their whole lives without each other. So they've been in severe pain and they've had a lot of struggle. And when they come together, it's kind of like, oh, I can't receive love from you because I'm not used to doing this. I've never gotten love from anybody. It doesn't feel right. But yet I love you, but it doesn't feel right. So the lesson is to slowly merge the energy until it's ready, and then it clicks into place. And when you walk into a room, your light is felt. You're like, wow, I'm worthy of receiving this love. And when we're together, we can expend it out into the universe and generate more of it. So I feel like that's the lesson is you're ready to do your mission. you're ready to get out there with your partner, but right now is that energy of slowly, slowly, slowly understanding each other, coming together, trying to figure it out. What is this connection? I don't understand it. And it can be really hard because you don't understand it, especially when there's barriers. You know, maybe you live in different time zones or countries or states, or maybe you're one person's married, or maybe you work with your person, maybe you work for them. So there's so many different barriers that God or that your higher self has created for you to overcome. And life will get really, really painful when it's time to leave the partnership, to go do this, to go do the mission. So if you feel squeezed, if you feel like you're being pushed out of something, it might be time for you to go be with your twin. And maybe you haven't met them yet. Maybe you have no idea like who they are, but maybe leaving that job is going to open up a door for you to find them. This is the spell casting deck. I didn't say it. Wow, we have truth. The truth landed and boundaries. Check these out. They're beautiful. So a part of that merging is you telling the truth, being honest with yourself, setting boundaries for your partner, saying, you know, you can't do this, or that might even just be boundaries with all people. Like, and I just heard somebody has to stand up for themselves. So like for me with my neighbor above me, it got so bad one night that, you know, you guys know me, I'm super nice. I don't want to cause any kind of friction. And it takes a lot to get me fired up. I'm usually very, very calm, but if it's like building for months and I don't release, then I can be nasty in my head and I can like come off cutting. And everybody can. We all have that part of us. It's the dark feminine in us, the dark masculine. But I went for a drive because I was purging that darkness out of me. And I'm just like, she just can't be quiet. I just want to sleep. I can't stand the noise anymore. And I was just like, oh, I just screamed in my car. And then I came back and then I went up and knocked on the door. And I was like, listen, I was like, I really don't want to be mean right now. But I was like, I am up to the brim with the noise. I was like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're pacing a lot and you're allowed to walk into your own apartment. I'm not saying you can't, but could you please just be a little bit lighter on your feet? And I was like, I know this is coming off really strong and there was no forewarning, but I'm like, I'm human and I'm just having a bad day. And she was so receptive. And then she texted me afterwards. But like, that's a boundary. That is me standing up for myself, saying, like, hey, I'm struggling right now and I need help. And if, you know, she's up there, she has no idea what it sounds like down here. So I have to stand up for myself and say it. And ever since, it's been great. And like, that's all I needed to do. So when we have to speak our truth or share our truth, and look, she's holding a mirror. So it's almost like you have to take a really hard look at yourself and see where you're not being honest, see where you're lying, see where you're not setting boundaries. Like, how many people would just not go up and say anything and not be nice? So many people would be really nasty in that situation and not apologize for being human or having a bad day. Um, you know, I at least took the drive to purge the excess energy so I didn't come off mean. But how many people would not do that, right? We have to learn. I've learned to regulate my emotions, and I'm encouraging all of you guys to do that too. Know your limits, know what you need before you blast somebody. And I'm guilty of it. I do it, you know, I mean, I haven't done it in years, but I recently did it with somebody else where I just lashed out at them. And it's because I let it build. And I don't have access to always talk to that person to get my feelings out. So it just kept building and building and building. And then it's like a tea kettle pot, just like, you know, like steaming and making that whistling noise. Like I just had, my lid was going to blow. And I know we all get to that point, and I know parents do with their children. So learning energetic boundaries, learning your own limits, learning how to purge your emotions so they don't build. And that's something that I have to work on, and I'm not proud of. Really not proud of the way I behaved in the last 2 months with certain people in my life. But at the same time, I'm like, I was struggling and I needed help and it wasn't there, you know? So we sometimes have to do the best we can. So let's open up Micah Magic. First card, you guys. And I just heard, when you are honest, this happens. Because the universe sees you growing. It sees you being different. It sees you setting boundaries and asking for help, but doing it in a kind way. Then you get rewarded. We have the 888 Infinite Abundance card. For any of you that are driving and maybe not listening or not watching, but listening, manifest more for yourself is our second Micah Magic. Let's do a big Micah spread. Stillness. Say yes. Go into your cave. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 34, things will start to shift. So this is kind of like the seahorse card all together. Like maybe you're manifesting this abundance in some way, this new career, this new line of work. So go into your cave, do your manifesting, do your scripting. Things will start to shift. Be still, bop around until they do, but say yes. You want to manifest more for yourself. So we have to give the universe our DoorDash order and say like, hey, I'm saying yes to whatever you're bringing me. As long as it feels good and it lights me up, I'm saying yes. Make a joy list. This is a huge piece. If we don't have joy in our life, we feel lackluster. We don't feel vibrant. We don't feel, we're not tapping into that sacral creative energy. So we have to have a joy list, literally. Like this card means sit down and make a list of all the things you like to do. Like, what do you love to do? Do you like to take baths? Do you like to read? Do you like to play with your children? Do you like to bike? Do you like to hike? Do you like to kayak? Write all of those things down. And then whenever you're feeling blah, maybe take an afternoon and commit to doing one thing on your joy list. 555, good change is coming. Holy Toledo. Hold the line. A lot of waiting energy. Get out in nature. Come out of your cave and forgive them. Last one, not last one, we're going to keep going. So good change is coming. Come out of your cave, get out into nature, hold the line, forgive them. Your soul tribe is coming. Maybe the person that you meet will connect you to all new people that are on this journey. I've always had such like a pipe dream of having my own YouTube channel and sharing the twin flame journey and sharing it with my partner, whether he's in the videos or not, but him allowing me to share our personal experience with the dynamic and the dreams and the telepathy and how God brought us together. And I just always felt like that was my mission. I knew it since like 2018 when I first spiritually awakened and I researched twin flames. I was obsessed and I was like, this is so cool how God makes two people that like share the same consciousness. Like, how cool is this? But it's also so it's not cool when you finally meet your person and you butt heads and you're like, this person drives me bonkers. And then you have to go off and heal and then you come back together. But I just always dreamt of having this like being such a trauma-filled kid and even young 20 something, like I was so wounded in relationships and I just want to get to a space where I'm with a partner where I don't live out that wounding anymore, where they help me work through it and I'm finally free from it. And the only way you can be free from it is if you are in it and you practice it and that person reassures you and lets you know, and they're so incredibly honest. Like that was always my pipe dream, is just to have a partner that I can completely trust and know no matter what he has my back and no matter what I have his back. And I'll be honest, if I'm being a jerk or if I'm being whatever, I'll come back and be honest, you know? I'll own all of my shit. But wouldn't that be cool if like I had my own channel and I was able to teach about relationships actually being in one? So I know I'm manifesting it and it's going to happen, but I feel like the soul tribe, forgive them, your soul tribe is coming. I think that soul tribe is like whoever you guys are going to meet, it's going to be part of your mission. It's like that beginning Two of Wands card from the Rider-Waite Tarot. Um, money is on the way. When you get together to do this mission, money will flow. So a common trend with twin flames is until they learn to merge, until they learn to kind of like balance that energy, like if they're hitting knuckles, they're not going to be able to be together. But the more they talk and the more they merge and the more they connect and heal and understand each other and learn to trust each other, guess what happens? It's like infinite abundance. I've read about it with other twins. I've watched other videos on it. They say during separation, your bank accounts go to shit. And then when you meet each other and you learn to be together, the light that you generate is so magnetic and strong that your mission just blows up and you start to receive so much money. And you're finally in alignment doing what you're meant to be doing, but you had to surrender to the partnership. You had to finally say, yes, okay, I know this is hard sometimes, but I'd rather fight with you than be bored with somebody else. A limiting belief is blocking you. And that came after the money card. So I feel like maybe that's something with all people, not just twin flames. But when we're talking about money, I was reading about this the other day. I don't know where I read it, but I was absorbing it. I was like so sucked into it. But we all have this belief, I think almost everybody does at some point in their life, that money is unsafe. So if you were to write that in your journal, money was unsafe to me in the past. Now I see that money can be safe and it can be unsafe. Money doesn't bring me safety. Money is neutral. Money is like water. It's a resource. We need it to live. Drink break. This is a pink jar. I'm not drinking something that's pink. It's just my electrolyte water. So we have money is unsafe, money is safe. And we say both until they become neutralized. So you're like, all right, sweet. I experienced both. I experienced not feeling safe around money. And then, when it comes in, I feel so safe with it. We have to get rid of that high and low, that dopamine hit. We just need to be neutral and say, okay, money was unsafe at one point and maybe I pushed it away. Maybe I quickly spent it. Maybe I didn't want anything to do with it because I saw how it was used for negative things in my childhood. Maybe it was used for leverage. Maybe it was used to hurt somebody else. Maybe one parent was like, well, I'm going to spend all his money or her money. And you witness this. So now money is like a weapon. So we have to unpack that money story, that money is unsafe or it's not reliable, it's inconsistent. You have to figure out what it is for you, and you have to get comfortable with it. You have to get used to seeing yourself with it. You have to get used to being like, it's okay, money, you can come to me and you can stay for a really, 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 really long time. And I won't fear losing you, and I won't just throw you to the wayside. I will take care of you. I will nurture you like a friend. And speaking of that, let's do a money deck. Let's do our money deck. This is my money messages for money oracle deck. It says, tell me you love me out loud. Yes, that's that relationship that I was talking about. You have to get comfortable with it. And I just want to say this right now. If somebody is in like mounds and mounds and mounds of debt, I want you to close your eyes right now. I want you to drop your shoulders where you are, whether you're in your car, whether you're riding around, you're on a walk. Say you're just in this money bind, right? And you feel like you're so in this dark hole and there's no way out. Close your eyes and relax. And you're going to say, I am done with lack. I release all lack. This is my time for abundance. Everything is going to shift overnight. All of it is paid off. It's gone. I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's not even a thought now. My bank account has been recharged. It's been restocked out of nowhere. It's like when you guys get points in a video game and you get 9 lives or whatever it is. It's like your batteries get recharged. And that's what I want you to feel right now. Feel into how that feels. Keep your eyes closed and feel into the game just got reset. Okay. Any debt you had just got reset. You are now with a full bank account, restarting the game all over again. And you're going to do it differently because you love money now. And you see what it can bring your family and yourself. And you can see how it can bring joy in certain ways. And you don't fear losing it because you know the game can reset at any time. Okay, the reset is the debt going to zero and the bank account going to 1 million. If you can imagine that, debt going to zero, bank account going to 1 million. And it's the press of a button. I need you to all imagine this. It's the pressing of a button. That's how simple it is. That's how quickly money can come into our lives. I've seen it with myself right when I feel like I only have like $200 in my bank account and I need like 7,000 by next week. It arrives. It's literally like I'm pressing a button. I just don't know what day it's going to come, but I go for long walks and I learn to tune my vessel to the vibration of love and to the vibration of I feel good. I'm ignoring my reality. I'm going to lay in the sun for like 5 hours and just journal and imagine that reset happening. And I'm telling you, this is the secret. You have to get into the feeling of the reset. You have to physically feel what it would feel like to have the debt just blank out and it's just gone and you just got $1 million. Like, feel that. That's what money wants to tell you. It's possible. You're in charge of it. If your ego is saying, well, how, Michelle, how is that going to happen? That's the problem. You have to see that thought. I have that thought too, but I got so good at not listening to it and being like, nice try, ego. You're not going to mess up my flow. And I just tune it out. And I said, I don't need to know. I just literally like blank out my mind and go, I don't need to know how. It's just going to come in. And if you want to really like feel into like what's possible, you could go to like maybe 250,000 if you want, or you can go to 300,000 or 100,000. Go to a comfortable number and then each week keep expanding that number and go bigger. There was one week where I had play money. Oh, here it is. I had play money, and this is right before I received a $25,000 check. But every night I would watch YouTube videos or my nightly routine, and I would pull cards. And then right before I would go to bed, I would count this money. And I would go 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, 900,000, 1 million. And then I would start from scratch again. And I might start at like, I think I would start at 100,000. And I would just use one bill as 100,000, as if this was $100,000. And I put a little cute heart on it. But let me tell you how quickly that worked, because my consciousness got used to counting those numbers. I got used to saying 500, 600,000, 700,000. So that by like the third or fourth day, 600,000 felt like common. It felt normal to my consciousness. It was just like, oh yeah, that's here. And yes, I know, I wish I had a success story that said I called in $600,000, but I mean, it was $25,000, which is my capacity to hold the money, right? That's my, what do you want to call it? My level of consciousness where I'm at and where I'm expanding my money bubble. But I've had $150,000 that I manifest, $30,000, 25, and I need to get like, I want to get more, I want to get more playful with the higher amounts. So I'm working on it too. But I do know that counting the money and honestly, like really understanding that money was unsafe for all of us at one point in our life. And for you to become aware of that belief system, if you can flick that switch in your head and rewire it and say, no, money is so fun. It's not unsafe. I'm not scared of it. I will know exactly what to do with it when I get it. The right people will arrive to help me invest it. I don't have to worry about, putting it into the wrong stock. I learned my lesson or whatever it is. And I'm telling you, a push of a button can reset your bank account overnight. I was watching a video about a woman who got $20,000 out of nowhere, and it was somebody just deposited it into her account, and it was like a stock that she had invested in like years ago. And I think the company was bought out, so there was residual money left over, and they paid it to her. And she had been just saying that she was like, you know what, I want to take a course that costs like I think it was like $10,000. She wanted to take this like online course. She's like, all right, universe, if you want me to take this course, bring me the money. And then literally the $20,000 was in her bank account that week. Like, what are the odds of that? So we can make money really, really safe to come in. We just have to learn what our beliefs are around it. And I know when we fill our consciousness with thoughts of money and we tell it all the time how we feel, like this card says, you're thinking about it all the time, which means you're going to be drawn to it. Just think about it. When you first see a car, like say you see like a Corvette, right? A yellow Corvette. You see it one day and then all of a sudden you see like 30 of them. You're attracting it to you. So why not place the thoughts about money or seeing that reset happen? Do that as often as you can. And guess what? Your reality has no choice but to start reflecting that back to you. And we can do this for our friends and family too. If we have friends or family that are in major debt or they're struggling, we can see them getting a reset. I do this all the time for my loved ones. Yes, and journal about it. You're writing down the amounts. You're counting the money. There's been so many days where I lay out back in the sun and I'm journaling going 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. I know it's going to happen. In 2015, I wrote myself a check for $1 million. So, and back then it seemed so big, but now I'm like, oh, it's just 1 million. You know, I'm really manifesting 33 million, but I've always wanted that check to come true. So I'm open to that coming whenever, but I know it will. And I just don't know how, but I keep writing 1 million, 1 million. And let me tell you how many lessons I've learned. For me to be able to create this deck, I have learned so much about money in the last 2 years that I understand why the million hasn't come yet, because I needed to learn all of this. I needed to understand that money wasn't safe. And if I would have gotten that 1 million, I would have literally blown it. And now I know that, like, I know to be secretive about my money, to not tell people about my money because it's my energy bubble and I don't want anyone's thoughts about it, right? We don't want any negativity poking our bubble. So when we receive money, we're not going to tell people about it because that allows all these outside influences to join in with their chaotic, unsafe money programming and thoughts and thought patterns about it. And then it hinders our bubble. So that was a huge lesson I learned too, was to be very, very protective of your earnings and your manifestations, unless you're somebody like me who's teaching it. You know, a lot of times I don't share all of my money stories because I want them to be private, you know, and maybe I would get more people if they heard my stories, but I'm protecting myself and that comes first. So I recommend that for all of you. Okay, final card, and then we're going to go into the extended. Let's see, final message for YouTube. 7 of Wands. Stand up for yourself and your beliefs. Have confidence, challenge those in power, but also choose your battles wisely. Remember we talked about standing up for yourself in the beginning? Man, this whole reading was all wands with all the tarot. So this is you standing up for anybody that is diminishing you, that is not setting boundaries, not honoring your time, your energy, your flow. You're just picking and choosing your battles. Sorry if you can hear me drinking. What a great card to end on, because we talked about that. All right, so you guys are going to work on your money beliefs. And in the extended, I'm going to go into how this money, I'm going to ask the cards how this money is going to come in and when, because I have a couple decks that have timelines on them. So we're going to look at how the money is going to come in, whether it's through thin air or through mission work, when it's going to come in, and then we're going to go into a quick relationship reading in the extended. So if you want to join my community for the extended, the link is below. YouTube, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me and my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, send me your love, and I will see you all in the next one. All right, lovies, peace out.